Letitia James is an American lawyer, activist, and politician. She is a member of the Democratic Party and the current Attorney General of New York, having won the 2018 election to succeed appointed Attorney General Barbara Underwood. She is the first African American and the first woman to be elected to the position. Born and raised in Brooklyn, James obtained her JD degree at Howard University in Washington, D.C. After graduating from Lehman College in the Bronx, she worked as a public defender, then on staff in the New York State Assembly, and later as an assistant attorney general. James served as a member of the New York City Council from 2004 to 2013. She represented the 35th Council District, which includes the Brooklyn neighborhoods of Clinton Hill, Fort Greene, parts of Crown Heights, Prospect Heights, and Bedford-Stuyvesant. James chaired the Economic Development and Sanitation Committees, and served on several other committees. She was later the New York City Public Advocate from 2013 to 2018. Letitia James was born on October 18, 1958, in Brooklyn. She is one of 8 children born to Nellie James, born in Martinsville, Virginia, in 1919, and Robert James. She attended New York City public schools and received her BA from the City University of New York's Lehman College in 1981. She received her JD degree from Howard University School of Law in Washington, D.C., and was admitted to practice law in New York State in 1989. In 2013, she attended the Columbia's School of International and Public Affairs for a degree in Master of Public Administration. James served as a public defender for the Legal Aid Society and established the Urban Network, a coalition of African American professional organizations aimed at providing scholarships for young people. In 1994, she promoted the Primary Health Care Development Bill in the City Council, which expanded daycare resources for working families across the city. In 1996, James negotiated the Welfare Reform Act on behalf of the New York State Black and Puerto Rican Caucus. She served on former New York Governor Mario Cuomo's task force on diversity in the judiciary. She served as counsel for Albert Wann, chief of staff for Roger L. Greene in the New York State Assembly, and in the administration of New York Attorney General Eliot Spitzer. She was appointed the first Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Brooklyn Regional Office in 1999. While working in that position, James worked in many capacities but notably focused on consumer complaints involving predatory lending and other unlawful business practices. James' first run for the 35th Council District was in November 2001. In a close race, James received 42% of the vote on the Working Families Party line but lost to James A. Davis, a Democrat, in July 2003. Just months before the next election, Davis was assassinated by Othniel Askew, a former political rival. Following Davis's death, his brother Jeffrey ran for his vacant council seat on the Democratic Party ticket. But on election day, November 4, 2003, Jeffrey Davis lost by a large margin to James as the Working Families Party nominee. In that 2003 race, James officially became a member of the Working Families Party and was the first citywide office holder to run solely on the WFP line. James is the first member of the Working Families Party to win office in New York State, and the first third-party member to be elected to the City Council since 1977. She has since changed back to the Democratic Party. In 2005, James became involved in advocating against the proposed Brooklyn Nets arena in her district, a case that put her against her mayor Michael Bloomberg, borough president Marty Markowitz and developer Bruce Ratner. James opposed the use of eminent domain to evict her constituents, selling the MTA's Atlantic Yards property below its market value, and keeping the planning of the project away from the New York City Council. James again won the Working Families in the Democratic Party's nominations by a large margin over Samuel Eric Blackwell, an urban planner at Long Island University and pro-stadium advocate. She was re-elected on the Democratic line on November 8, 2005, with 88.11% of the vote. compared to 6.80% for Republican Anthony Herbert, and 5.08% for Independence Party candidate Charles B. Billups. On October 10, 2006, there was a devastating fire at the Broken Angel House, an architectural icon in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn. The fire attracted attention from the New York City Department of Buildings, which resulted in the citation of numerous building code violations. James represented Broken Angel's owner, Arthur Wood, pro bono in his negotiations to keep his home. The agency decided to allow Wood to reoccupy Broken Angel provided the upper levels were taken down and the central stairwell reconstructed. James was the sponsor of New York Law 2007-29, which addressed the Alternative Enforcement Program by the DEPA.